சொல்லுங்க வந்ததுலேருந்து ரெடி ரெடின்னு சொல்லி
2, 1, perfect. Now on the topic of love, one sec, sorry, I've got
What's
the
the
PSG.
topic of love?
No, wait, I've got the PSG Bayern game up. So
PSG
I'm
what
watching
game?
it PSG Bayern Munich.
Oh shit, fair.
Champions League. As you just said, Tani, 2 minutes ago.
Sorry.
Visaran.
Sorry என்ன கொஞ்சம் வந்துச்சுன்னா காஃப் பண்ணிட்டேன். Hi.
Okay. As you were talking about 2 minutes ago, love is stupid. But when you're in love, you're not one thing. You're not in flow state. Thank you. Welcome to today's episode of Personal Punk where we're talking about flow state.
Wow,
Thank
பிடிக்காம
you.
பாரு ஒரு பாயிண்ட்.
Okay, so do you know what flow state is?
என்ன கேக்குறீங்களா வியூவர்ஸ் கேக்குறீங்களா?
உங்களை தான்
என்ன
கேட்குறாங்க.
கேக்குறீங்க?
அவங்கள கேட்டால் அவங்க சொல்ல மாட்டாங்க.
ஓ சிட்டனே அதான் காமெண்ட்ஸ்ல சொன்னா நல்லா இருக்கும் பட் அடுத்த கிழமை தான் வந்து சேரும். I do know what flow state is, but yeah.
Go ahead. Should I give you the definition first and then do you want to talk?
I think I would say it's a state where people are flowing. அப்படி சொல்றேன்.
Nice. Like மூத்திரம்?
Yes. ஆத்திரத்துல வர்ற மூத்திரம், you know, அந்த மாதிரி தான். சர்றன்னு போய் கொண்டிக்கும்.
அப்படியே விடணும். Yeah. அப்படியே விடணும்.
You don't think about anything else but that மூத்திரம். அதான் flow state. Think about one thing, you keep going and you do what you have to do. I think that's what flow state is.
The term flow state describes a mental state in which a person is completely focused on a single task or activity. They are directing all of their attention towards a task and they do not experience many thoughts about themselves or their performance. Some people refer to this informally as being in the zone.
Or also as just taking mudram and not thinking about anything. அதான் சொன்னாங்க.
அதெல்லாம் நாட்களா வரணும்.
லோக்கல் செட்ல சொன்னா வந்து முழங்காது.
But this is like flow state to me is like one of those things where I was going to say like in a creative field, but I think even outside of a creative field, if you can learn to like be in it, like even subconscious, like or like force yourself to be in it, it can benefit you a lot. You get what I mean?
Yeah. Would you say you
go ahead.
are in flow state most of the time or some of the time?
100% no. 100% no.
Very
like, as in like I have ADHD, so like I'm definitely never going to concentrate a lot. But I know there's certain things I can do to sort of help me, like things to get rid of and things to add on whilst I'm doing something to sort of.
Okay, share those things. Let us know of your techniques and.
Okay, ways. Yeah, sure. For me, music's a big thing. Although I do want to why don't we start with the topic of flow state, and then we'll go into how we get there.
Well, introduction and then you know.
Yeah. Because like I'm watching Messi on the ball right now, you know, and when I see Messi, I'm thinking of flow state. And now put on flow into one.
அவன் பேர்லே மெஸ்ஸி என்று இருக்க என்ன ஃப்ளோ அண்ணா மேட்ச் பார்க்கறதுக்கு டைம் வேற கிடைக்காது.
Sorry.
இப்பதான் சொன்னேன் ஃப்ளோ ஸ்டேட்டை விட்டு அதுக்கு.
Sorry. No, because I always think of it as like, you know, like for example, you have athletes like Michael Jordan, you have people like Messi, you have people like Ronaldo, like, even like musicians who just like time and time again they put in the work to do something like and like they produce. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's physical or whether it's like actual like art or whatever they do, they always produce, and it's sort of they put themselves in that mentality. But like I've always believed it as you like that flow state, like it's sort of like. The best way to describe it is, do you know in football, like when you're playing like five-a-side or whatever, sometimes there's moments where you make moves, but you like in your brain you're not thinking. You're just okay, move the ball away from here, dribble in here. Like there's nothing really happening. You're just moving and things are happening, and that's what I think flow state is. And it's a sort of like you have to sort of put yourself in that state and then practice how to stay in that state, or just like sometimes like. I think I've gave you this advice. No, I didn't give you this advice, but like I told you, like sometimes like we've spoken about this. Where it's like in football, like you just
I was going to mention.
Don't think, just don't like commit to something and keep going.
That's another point I was going to make as well. Like we already spoke about that point, but that for example, when it comes to football as well, or just generally, can overthinkers be like in flow state? Do you know what I mean? Like.
See, that was a point I was going to actually bring on to you at the end. But
wow, not a chemistry. But what I'm trying to say is like, okay, instead of looking at it that way, look at it in a way that do overthinkers have more of a disadvantage to be in a flow state rather than a normal person who doesn't. A normal person, okay, everyone's a normal person. I don't want to say it that way, but I mean, like, just someone who doesn't overthink to someone who overthinks. Obviously, you can see the differences, and you can see how an overthinker might not be in a flow state as often as a normal, as someone who thinks less.
But yes, true. However, do you think, like, yes, 100%. Like, I think if you don't like force your, like, if you're always thinking about your next move, and like thinking about every other possibility, then yes, it is a bad thing. However, I feel like if you learn to control that, or like learn to play that to your advantage, then it can sort of help you become, like, get into flow state, because in my head, how I see is when you're overthinking, you're playing all these sort of scenarios in your head, and because it's sort of like so not out of touch, but out of control, it's very overwhelming. Whereas, like, again, this is just words, isn't it? But if you sort of break it down and like start eliminating your different choices of which are not possible, or like go for a process of like, okay, this is not gonna work, this is not gonna work, whatever's gonna happen, like whatever process you come up with of how you deal with overthinking, you can sort of like limit it down to then find your best options and make it work, I guess. Again, I'm not an overthinker, so I don't know.
No. I feel like the point that you're making with this is, I feel like it just makes me think that that's on top of overthinking. You're thinking on top of already overthinking. I feel like best ways that I've found to think is when, even advice that I've gotten, which have worked, is to literally just go head on. Like, don't think. In the sense of like, think. You're going to naturally overthink anyways, but don't think on top of what you're thinking. So just put yourself in the position straight away, and don't think about going into it.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I was going to even say... No, go on. Continue.
Oh, no. Football might be a bad example because you're constantly, I think you are thinking, right? You're thinking about where you're going to move. You're thinking about where you're going to go. You're thinking about...
But I also think that's not our natural... Like, for example, for me, for me, it might be editing that is like my flow state. Whereas like for you, it'll be dancing. So so like football may not be the best example because it's something, even though it's a sport, we're trying to achieve flow in it rather than it already being our natural element where we feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like how do you? Because like I know you're an overthinker, and I know that like you do overthink, but then like. Surely in dance, there's moments where you don't. Do you know what I mean? Like even though you are thinking, you're not doing the overthinking part. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And you're just doing.
I think the moments that I don't overthink in dances, especially when I collaborate with someone. So I feel like that's the best example because you're basically moving with someone else. Whether it's like I feel like I've seen it more in contemporary dance because you're actually like interacting and moving. So it's more of a thing that it kind of flows more easily. Like you're thinking of one move. Like for example, if I'm starting to choreo, I'm thinking of okay, this is how my start is going to be, and then I'll do the move, and then automatically whilst the music is playing, like as soon as we've done that move, we kind of flow into like start the other move,
the next one.
Do you know what I mean? Because it naturally kind of like flows. So in that instance, I wouldn't overthink. But I feel like, for example, let's say I'm doing like a solo choreo, like it's a bit more different because I do the same thing again, like I naturally move, but I think about the movement that I've done next a lot more than just be like, oh yeah, that flows, that works well, and then just go with that move. Like I would redo the previous move and then like try and see, oh, can I do this move instead of that move? So the next step that I'm going to take, I would think about it a lot more because I would
when you're on your own.
Yeah, when I'm on my own, because I would look at myself in the mirror. I'll doubt, you know, whether it looks good enough, or
But do you think that's because you don't have a second opinion?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the whole point of if I'm collaborating with someone, if they find it good, it's kind of it affirms that the move is good enough and we're flowing together, and it's about two people flowing. So in that sense, it makes sense. But yeah, I feel like other situations like that, it doesn't make sense it does make sense, but I feel like the advice that I said of just putting yourself in is, for example, like putting yourself in social situations, whether it's like work related or not. Just, for example, just calling someone up rather than messaging them. You know, things like that is like you're proactively deciding to just put yourself in that situation. Because you know, you're just literally like just giving yourself the opportunity to not think because you're already in it, and you're just like, okay, now I have to think on the spot, which is a lot harder than, you know, having that thought process ready to say something to someone, right?
Yeah. What is your like triggers for not triggers, but like what do you use to sort of help you focus or just get there?
To focus out to reach flow state.
In general, like work and just like being able to say, listen, I'm gonna stay here for an hour and just get work done. Like, what is your what helps you?
What helps me? I would say like, it depends what angle we're looking at because like, it's like, I would tell myself I'm gonna sit down and do something for an hour, but you know, I'll still get things done, but it doesn't stop me from kind of thinking of other things. Like, I'll always think of other things. Like, let's say I'm working on one thing, I'm possibly thinking about something that I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like anyone would do that, right?
Yeah. But, that happens to me. That happens to me as well.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's a normal thing. So I think I try and put. The most obvious thing is like putting distractions away. You know, certain times I'll put my phone on airplane mode. Like, I'll just like, because I know that my phone's my biggest distraction. I feel like everyone's distraction is that nowadays. Sure. So try and put that on airplane mode. And just try and like, I would not listen to music. I feel like I don't like sound when I'm focusing.
Okay.
Whereas for you, I know you like music whilst you're doing something.
I love noise. You know, like even in the office, like one of my SPOs pointed out, it was like there was like 5 people just talking around me, everyone having a conversation, I'm talking as well, and then he gave me a task to do. It was just like just going through like a form, just checking like POs and just basically just like a mindless task. You know, you just do like, you spend like half an hour doing it. And like while these lot are just spending like 5 people are talking, I'm sitting there talking as well and just doing it and just banging it out. And he's just like, damn, like you really do like enjoy the noise. So like you work well in it. But I feel like that's just because like I'm an overthinker like you, but in a more like, I'm a scatterbrain thinker. Like, I have a lot of thoughts, but then like it can vary and it can go on a tangent very quickly.
I feel like that's the same for me as well. Like, I think about a lot of things, right? It's very easy for me to slip into a thought.
That like, do you not think that like classical music would help, or like some more like mellow music?
The one thing that I've actually listened to that's really kind of helped me is not that, but more like orchestra stuff. Yeah, more like
that symphonies and stuff.
Symphonies, and like stuff it's more like background music than it is lyrical.
Yeah.
Then it is something that you're kind of listening on to daily basis. You know what I mean? So something that just instrumentals, to be honest. So I feel like,
because we were listening to music yesterday, but I was playing more like, it was more like anime and just like Star Wars
again
music.
That was instrumental more than it was anything, right? So that helps. I wouldn't say it helps, but I would say that it's you can deal with it. True.
And have you ever tried like the Pomodoro technique? The Pomodoro timer?
I used to always bang that out at uni.
What was your perfect, like, what was the good range for you? Like, was it like 55 or was it like 45, 15? Like, what was your good range?
My good range was, I would take, I think it would, what was it? I know my breaks were taking 5-minute breaks, like 4 5-minute breaks, and then 1 20-minute break.
But the
interval of study.
Oh, so 25 minutes. 25 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah, because I felt like.
So I used to do that, but I feel like it's too short. Sometimes it feels like it runs by too quickly.
It really depends on what you're doing, though, doesn't it? Like, if you're just doing tasks to get things done, then I feel like that would work. But I feel like if it's something that you need to really deeply dig your brain out and like really read things and like give yourself time to actually soak it in and absorb it, then obviously the 25 minutes won't work. Obviously you're gonna have to go a bit longer.
Because if it's like laundry or just like cleaning the house, like it can make sense. I find.
Yeah. No.
Then, like,
yeah,
if
that
it's
as well.
like-
But even if it's work related, where you just have to complete
Yeah.
worksheets,
Like send
or-
emails and stuff. Yeah.
or
Exactly.
emails, something that's just like you tick off the list as you go.
Yeah.
You're not really actively
Whereas, like,
thinking, right?
Because I found out like with editing, it's useless. As in, it's not useless, but like for example, like if I'm editing a video,
Yeah.
25 minutes is not a lot of time. Do you know what I mean? Like 25
Definitely,
minutes might
yeah.
be me just going through like a couple
Make
clips
decisions.
and then choosing one
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, do you know what I
Literally,
mean?
just
Just
be
like
like,
choosing one clip.
Is this good? Is that hair looking nice? Or I feel like that
Yeah, do you know what I
that
mean?
hair
Do you know
strand's
what I mean?
getting in between the eyes. Like, yeah.
But that's why I was like, okay, fine. Anything else? Do you like? What do you prefer drinking? Are you a water guy, tea guy? Do you snack?
I like
do you
peppermint
not
tea a lot.
snack?
I like peppermint
Peppermint
tea. A lot.
tea.
Peppermint tea helps me a lot
Okay.
to calm down. I feel like it's one of those things that in the mornings I would have coffee just to get me in the. I
Okay.
feel like I need coffee just to get in. Like
How
in
do you
that
have,
awake
how do you
mode.
normally drink your coffee?
So I mean, usually like if I go into the office, I would buy a coffee. Otherwise, it's pretty much just instant coffee at this point because it's easy, it's quick, so I just it gets me going.
Go on.
Anne.
sorry.
ADHD
Off the line
kicking in.
clearance.
Flow state போயிட்டு தான்
Sorry.
அப்படியே.
நான் அப்படியே கேமோட ஃப்ளோ பண்ணி போறேன்.
Well.
Sorry.
No, but yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's just like literally just having coffee in the morning, and then afterwards, obviously,
Okay.
if you have the more coffee you have, the more jittery you're gonna get. So rather than that,
Yeah,
I'd rather have peppermint tea and just calm down and
Okay.
just like it just calms you down. Do you know what I mean? So I like having peppermint tea a
yeah.
lot, and it's a good hot drink to have. Rather than water.
Fun.
How about you?
Are you a snacker? Me? I'm a tea guy. I'm not a coffee. Coffee is a drug to me. If I need to stay awake for the whole night, I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah.
If not, I'm not touching it. I know, but
Nice.
sometimes my mom makes Ceylon coffee, which I really do
that's
like.
nice. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
And
it's a
Ceylon-
little spicy.
It's Ceylon kopi.
Yeah, sorry, coffee. Sorry. It's a translation mistake, sorry.
Yeah, of course.
Editing
la paatha.
But yeah. But no, I feel like for me it's just music. Like, do you like this is a problem, like when you say stuff like flow state and like all of this, like it sounds very pretentious and it sounds very like not Tumulu,
only
but
those
it's like,
people on TikTok that have their lives together and sit there and
Yeah.
record themselves can
Yeah.
have.
because I feel like
that's what
sometimes
it
it
feels-
doesn't feel like it. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like
Yeah.
you're in flow state when you're sometimes
It
in
does sound like some sort of meditation. Like it sounds
Yeah,
like
yeah.
sounds like you have to sit there and you're going to another world, which is technically what it
yeah.
means, but at the same time it's not.
And do you think with flow state you have to be okay with like being uncomfortable, I guess? Like just being able to just be like, listen, I just like,
Just sit
because
through
obviously like when we talk about flow state, we're talking about once you're actually in it and actually working. But like that first 5 minutes of trying to get work done is the most bullshit, is the most hardest like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Literally,
So I'm like,
yeah.
okay, fine.
It's like
Sorry.
I mean, relating it back to dance as well. Like I feel like you said, the first 5 minutes. It's not in the first 5 minutes. Sometimes it's the first 20 freaking minutes that you just
Yeah.
that you're just there thinking about what that first step is. But as soon as you get that, that's your peak. As soon as you get your starting, you can just flow, and then you get your brain block or whatnot. But for like you said, that the first
Hardest starting is always the hardest part. They say
Yeah.
starting is always the hardest.
taking the
part.
first step, isn't it? Getting out of your bed and stuff like
What
that.
would you do to improve how you get into flow state? Like, is that things that you don't like you do right now that are bad for you or are distractions or like sort of like what reduces your productivity? I guess in a way.
What would you use my productivity?
நான்
Obviously my
interview
phone.
question கேக்குறேன்.
Sorry, thank you. Actually, basically, when I
What's
worked
your
in Chennai,
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of distractions, right? There's a lot of things that, for me, I feel like my phone is the biggest distraction. Obviously, what else is like? I feel like my family is the biggest distraction as well, and you. So
Thank you.
So I feel like just I mean get myself to a different place, like maybe a coffee shop where I can sit down and just work.
Have you ever tried working in like one of those like Jesus Christ, I just read a message and it just blew me off a fucking thought process.
That must be a special
No,
message.
no.
Wow, naughty.
Hey, விடாதே. Hey.
It's okay.
What did you say? I completely forgot now.
I said it's best for me to like go to a different place, like a coffee shop or something, just to sit down and work. And then you said,
have you ever been to one? Yeah, there you go. That's it. Have you ever been to one of those like study areas or study coffee shops? Like not just a coffee shop, but like an actual study area.
Well, which ones are you talking about? Like, it depends. In Milton Keynes,
You
we
know,
don't
like
really
in
have that
London,
much.
just-
So.
Oh, fine. True.
Oh, yeah, no.
You might have like public spaces.
Yeah, we do.
But
But there was this one place that I used to always go in when I was in London at uni. It was like this coffee shop, but it was basically it was a cycling coffee shop. Like, it was to do with like cycling. It was to do with like cyclists would come in and they would have a coffee, and it would just be like them playing like footage of races and like, you know, cycle races and stuff like that. I was like, the vibe was quite good, you know, because everyone comes to work. I mean, anyone who comes there, they don't really, that, you know, they're not cyclists. I mean, they don't look like professional cyclists, and they come in there. The vibe, the atmosphere was really good. It didn't seem too serious. So yeah, I feel like it helps, right? Just come like putting yourself in that kind of fresh environment around people that you know are working. It kind of motivates you. You're like, oh shoot, I should be doing something. Do you know what I mean?
But I also feel like I get distracted by those people. I'm like, அவங்க என்ன செய்றாங்க? அவங்க நானும் பார்க்க போறேன்.
Well, like people watching. I love people watching.
Yeah.
I love people.
I love coming up with backstories for people.
Yeah.
Be like, yeah, this guy's got he's just paying off. He just paid off his mortgage. You know, he got lucky on Bitcoin, but now he forgot to pull out. As in, like, he forgot to.
Whoa!
Cash
So
out.
Sagar's got 2 children.
Yeah.
Sagar is
He's got
trying to
mortgage
buy
and he's got
a
that.
house.
Yes.
Sagar's life ruined.
Sagar, please. Sanyan Sagar, please.
It's nice Sagar actually, but
Oh, sorry.
shorta, sweeta, நான் என்று கூப்பிடுறத விட சேகர் கூப்பிடுற நல்லா இருக்கும்னு சேகர் என்று கூப்பிடுறேன்.
Fine. But no.
Yeah, that's it.
Flow state, baby. Wait, there's this thing called flow. So there's it's like a chart. நானே describe பண்ணி சொல்றேன், okay?
Wow.
இப்படி chart ஒன்று இருக்கு.
சொல்லுங்க.
Okay? Chart இருக்கு. One
Chart ஆ
skill
graph ஆ?
level up here and then difficulty up here and then on this side.
Shit.
So it's low to high. So the more if something is low skill level, what the fuck? High skill level. What's this nonsense?
ஆனா நீங்க
Why am I
படிச்ச
reading
பிள்ளையா
this?
இல்ல படிக்காத பிள்ளையா?
இல்ல I'm dyslexic, goddamn it.
ஐயோ கிராஃப் பிள்ளையான பக்கத்துல வந்துட்டுது. மில்டன் கீன்ஸ் பிரான்ச்சுக்கு அனுப்பினா நான் பார்த்திருப்பேன். பட்
பேசிக்கலி இப்படி ஒரு கிராஃப் இருக்கு.
அப்படி
இப்படி லோ ஹை இருக்கு. ஸ்கில் டிஃபிகல்ட்டி.
ஓகே.
இதுக்குள்ள போர்டம் இந்த ஏரியால whereas low difficulty high skill. இந்த லெவல் anxiety which is high difficulty low skill.
ரைட் ஃபியூச்சர்ஸ்.
ஓகே. ஆனா நடுவுல ஒரு ஸ்ட்ரிப் இருக்கு இப்படி.
ஆஹா.
அந்த ஸ்ட்ரிப்ல தான் ஃப்ளோ சொல்லுது. அவ்வளவுதான்.
It's like a balance. அதத்தான் சொல்ல வரேன்.
Yeah.
You need like fair enough.
Would you actually, so we've spoken about this before, but should we, how doable do you think a whole podcast in Tamil is?
I want to do it. I really want to do it. I feel like the next one should be. I feel like the next one should be full on Tamil.
It will hurt me though.
You should not use one single word of English. Unless you really can't think of a word.
Yeah. If there's a replacement for it. Like, if I need to say the word voluptuous. அது தமிழ் எப்படி சொல்ற?
Voluptuous. In voluptuous. Well, first of all, the question should be, what are you describing as voluptuous? என்னது பிடி காயகுப்புறம்?
என்ன வார்த்தை தான்?
Wow. அதுக்கு வேற வார்த்தைகள் இருக்கு பங்கு.
Hey, naughty. Hey.
நல்ல வார்த்தை இல்ல.
That's okay. That's how I prefer it. Come on, Mbappe.
Yeah, no. Okay, if you ever use the word voluptuous, நீங்க அந்த வார்த்தையை நீங்க இங்கிலீஷ்லயே சொல்லலாம்.
How do I say marshmallow in Tamil?
Kandravi. நான் ஸ்ரீலங்கால marshmallow சாப்பிட்டது.
Now next week we're going to talk about marshmallows and Haribos. And Haribo அப்படி சொல்றது தமிழ்ல.
Which one is softest? Haribo Tamil is Karibo.
Marshmallow.
இனிப்பு சாமான் அதான் சொல்லுவாங்க. இனிப்பு சாமான்
என்ன இனிப்பு சாமான் இனிப்பு சாமான் எல்லாத்துக்கும் இனிப்பு சாமான் சாக்லேட்டுக்கு
இனிப்பு சாமான் கேக் இனிப்பு கேக் இனிப்பு சாமான்
தேனுக்கு இனிப்பு சாமான்
you were very quickly Anna.
Thank you but I'm going to practice in the mirror then.
Yeah,
I'm going to practice in the mirror and next week we'll come back.
You're going to pep yourself up for next week.
Yeah.
I mean,
if
you guys have anything that you want us to talk about in Sutta Tamil.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Hey. Direction, ஒரே direction.
Sorry, light sleep punchy actually.
It's okay. Yeah, like we said, if you want us to talk about anything specific in Tamil, let us know in the comments below. We'll talk about it. If not, we'll talk about random stuff like we usually do. So
yeah,
you know.
And if not, we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Bye.
Good night.